Welcome to my channel World of Coins, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. The story of the Lincoln penny is one that has fascinated collectors and history lovers for more than a century, and when we turn our attention to the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny, the journey becomes even more thrilling. This tiny coin, often overlooked in everyday transactions, holds secrets that have made it one of the most talked about pieces in American numismatic history. The year 1974 was a unique moment in American coin production, because the nation was facing the challenge of rising costs in materials, and the cent was at the heart of the debate. Copper had grown more expensive, and the U.S. Mint was exploring alternatives to keep the penny affordable to produce. What came out of this period were experiments, variations, and rare issues that today stand as prized treasures for collectors. The Lincoln penny itself, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, had already become an icon by the 1970s. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin carried Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, a design that endures to this day. In 1974, the image of Lincoln remained sharp and familiar, but beneath the surface of production, changes were quietly being tested. During this year, most pennies were struck in the traditional bronze composition, which was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, the soaring price of copper meant the mint was losing money making each cent. To address this, experimental strikes were made in aluminum, and while these were never intended to be released into circulation, a few escaped, creating a buzz in the world of numismatics. Collectors know the aluminum cents of 1974 as legendary rarities, but even the standard bronze issues have stories of their own. Pennies of this year can show subtle variations, mint errors, and unique characteristics that transform them from ordinary change into valuable collector's items. For those who know what to look for, a 1974 penny can be worth far more than just a single cent. One of the joys of coin collecting is the thrill of discovery, and countless people have stumbled upon rare 1974 pennies in old jars, drawers, or boxes of forgotten change. What makes these discoveries even more magical is that most people never imagined a penny from this era could carry such tremendous value. It is this element of surprise that keeps interest in the Lincoln cent alive generation after generation. The design itself remains a classic. The obverse features Lincoln in profile, his face turned to the right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," proudly displayed. The date 1974 stands as a reminder of a changing decade, a time when America was navigating economic shifts and social transformations. Each tiny detail etched into the coin holds a piece of the nation's story. On the reverse, the coin carried the famous Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears motif. This design not only commemorated the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth but also captured the enduring respect Americans held for their 16th president. Within the design, sharp-eyed collectors can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, an astonishing detail for such a small piece of metal. As with many coins, the condition of a 1974 penny can make a world of difference in its value. Circulated examples often show heavy wear, scratches, and loss of detail, but uncirculated or mint-state examples can gleam with luster and showcase the artistry of the original strike. The rarity increases dramatically when the coin is preserved in pristine condition. Errors and varieties also add to the fascination. A misaligned die, doubled die obverse, or off-center strike can transform an ordinary penny into a sought-after rarity. Collectors hunt for these variations, and when they are found on a 1974 penny, the value can rise significantly. The possibility that an unusual version might be hiding in pocket change fuels the excitement. The experimental aluminum pennies from 1974 stand in a category all their own. Though not officially released, a handful made their way into the hands of collectors and officials, and over time, these coins became legendary. The government ordered them to be returned, but some were never recovered. Stories about their existence continue to capture imaginations to this day. Even among the bronze issues, there are unique mint marks to watch for. Pennies struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints each carry identifying features. The small D or S beneath the date instantly tells a collector where the coin was made, and in some cases, one mint's output is scarcer than another, adding yet another layer of value. The 1974 Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it is a historical artifact. Each example carries with it the legacy of President Lincoln, the ingenuity of the mint, and the challenges of a nation balancing tradition with economic pressures. To hold one of these coins is to hold a piece of living history. Collectors often speak about the emotional side of numismatics, and with good reason. A coin like the 1974 penny sparks memories of the past, whether it was change given at a store decades ago or a penny tucked away by a grandparent. Its value is not only in dollars but in the memories and connections it carries. The market for Lincoln cents has remained strong because they appeal to both beginners and advanced collectors. For newcomers, the hunt for a 1974 penny in good condition is exciting and accessible. For experts, the possibility of uncovering a rare variety, an error, or even an elusive experimental strike makes the pursuit endlessly rewarding. Over the years, certain 1974 pennies have stunned the numismatic world when they appeared at auctions. These sales highlight just how much collectors are willing to pay for the right coin, especially when it is rare, historic, and in remarkable condition. Each headline-making sale adds to the mystique surrounding the 1974 penny. Beyond the auction houses, coin shows and collector communities buzz with conversations about coins like the 1974 Lincoln penny. Stories are exchanged, coins are examined under magnifying glasses, and values are debated passionately. The penny serves as both a subject of study and a spark for friendship among collectors. It is fascinating to think that something as small and common as a penny could inspire such passion. But that is the magic of numismatics. Ordinary objects become extraordinary once you know their stories. The 1974 penny is a perfect example of this transformation. When you imagine the countless millions of pennies minted in 1974, it is humbling to think that just a few hold such immense value. It reminds us that rarity is not about quantity alone but about history, circumstance, and survival. That is why collectors treasure these coins so deeply. The lessons the 1974 penny teaches us go beyond money. They remind us to look closely at the everyday objects in our lives, to appreciate the craftsmanship that goes unnoticed, and to recognize that even the smallest things can hold great worth. Every time a collector adds a 1974 penny to their collection, they are not just acquiring a coin, they are preserving a piece of the American story. That story continues to inspire, intrigue, and captivate audiences around the world. As the years pass, the value of coins like the 1974 penny only seems to grow. Rarity, demand, and historical significance all combine to push its importance higher in the eyes of collectors. What was once pocket change has become a treasure worth protecting. The Lincoln cent has been called the people's coin, and the 1974 issue embodies this perfectly. It connects everyday Americans with their history, their currency, and their heritage in a way no other coin can. When you hold a 1974 penny, you may be holding something far rarer than you realize. It might be a common bronze strike, or it might be one of those elusive varieties that have made headlines and set records. That mystery is what makes the hunt so thrilling. Collectors often dream about stumbling across that one coin that changes everything, and for many, the 1974 penny represents that dream. Its story is filled with intrigue, rarity, and excitement, all packed into a single cent. From the history of its design to the mysteries of its production, the 1974 penny stands as a shining example of why people fall in love with coin collecting. It has everything: beauty, rarity, and the potential for extraordinary value. So next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. You never know if you might be holding a piece of numismatic treasure. In the case of the 1974 Lincoln penny, that treasure could be valued as high as $135,000. Top 2. The Lincoln 1-cent penny has been part of American life for over 100 years, and every decade leaves behind its own unique chapter in this coin's history. The 1980 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin at first glance, but when you take a closer look, it reveals a fascinating story of design, history, and unexpected value. By 1980, the Lincoln penny had already cemented its reputation as one of the most familiar and beloved coins in U.S. history. Since its debut in 1909 to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it had become a symbol of American heritage and a coin that connected generations. The obverse of the 1980 penny carried the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed decades earlier by Victor David Brenner. His dignified profile looks to the right, with the words, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the side, and the year 1980 proudly displayed beneath. Despite being mass-produced, each coin carried this timeless design that still inspires respect today. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial design was featured, a design that had been introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This image shows the grand structure standing tall, with the word "United States of America" arched above and "1 cent" boldly engraved below. If you look very closely, you can even see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, an incredible detail often missed by casual observers. In 1980, pennies were made from the classic bronze alloy, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gave them their distinctive reddish-brown tone and heavier feel compared to later zinc-based pennies. For collectors, this difference in metal makes these coins all the more special today. Millions of these pennies were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and each mint added its own identity to the coins. The Denver issues carried a small D mint mark, while Philadelphia coins from 1980 did not carry a mint mark at all, which makes them easy to identify. Though billions of coins were produced, not every 1980 penny is the same. Subtle differences, striking errors, and condition levels separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. It is in these small details where collectors find excitement and sometimes life-changing value. For most people, a penny is simply a penny, but in the world of numismatics, a coin's condition is everything. A 1980 penny that has been circulating for decades may look dull and worn, but a well-preserved, mint-state coin can shine with luster and command serious attention at auctions. Errors are another fascinating aspect of the 1980 penny. Coins with off-center strikes, doubling on the obverse, or weakly struck details are incredibly sought after. These mistakes were rare, but when they occurred, they created coins that stood apart from the rest and are worth far more than face value. The hunt for valuable 1980 pennies has inspired collectors for years. Many people dig through jars of coins, examine pocket change, or search coin rolls from banks in hopes of spotting one of these hidden treasures. The excitement of the search is part of what makes coin collecting so rewarding. Each 1980 penny also reflects the economic story of its time. Copper was still affordable enough to be used in the coins, but within just 2 years, the rising cost forced the mint to switch to a cheaper zinc composition with a copper coating. That means the 1980 penny represents the last era of mostly pure copper cents before the change in 1982. For collectors, this makes the 1980 penny a snapshot of history, a reminder of the moment just before a major transformation in U.S. coinage. Holding one is like holding the final chapter of an era. Beyond its metal, the 1980 penny connects us to President Lincoln himself. His face on the coin is a reminder of his legacy, his leadership during America's most difficult years, and his enduring place in the nation's heart. Each coin carries that tribute in its tiny frame. Over the years, certain 1980 pennies have gained fame at auctions for their beauty, rarity, or unusual features. These sales draw the attention of the collecting community and inspire everyday people to take another look at the coins they once overlooked. When a coin is certified by professional grading services, its value can rise dramatically. A 1980 penny in mint state condition, graded highly for its shine and sharp detail, can stand out from the millions of worn examples and become a prized addition to a serious collection. The Lincoln penny has been called the coin of the people, and the 1980 edition continues the tradition. From everyday change to rare collectibles, it embodies both the common and the extraordinary, reminding us that value can hide in plain sight. Collectors often talk about the thrill of discovery, and nowhere is that more true than with the Lincoln penny. The idea that a small coin from 1980 could turn out to be worth a fortune keeps the excitement alive. This thrill is not just for experts. Beginners, too, can find themselves captivated by the 1980 penny. Its affordability as a starting point and its potential for hidden value make it perfect for anyone beginning their numismatic journey. the coin is also a favorite for history lovers, who appreciate the cultural and economic backdrop of its production. It reflects the late 20th century in America, a time of change, growth, and preparation for the modern era. Some collectors even build entire sets around Lincoln pennies, and the 1980 issue plays an important role in completing those collections. Its place in the timeline makes it both accessible and intriguing. The appeal of this coin lies not only in its history but also in its mystery. Somewhere out there, a rare variety or a perfect condition specimen could still be waiting to be found, tucked away in a drawer or hidden in a collection of loose change. This possibility keeps collectors searching, trading, and talking about the 1980 penny. Its story lives on in coin shops, at shows, and across communities of enthusiasts who share the same passion. The design itself never grows old. Lincoln's portrait remains as strong as ever, and the memorial on the reverse continues to impress with its attention to detail. Even after so many decades, the coin has retained its beauty. When we think about value, it is easy to focus only on dollars. But the 1980 penny carries more than just financial worth, it carries historical, cultural, and sentimental value. For many, it is a link to their past or a reminder of childhood memories. Still, there is no denying that financial value matters, and that is where this coin truly surprises. While most 1980 pennies may only be worth face value, the rarest and finest examples can command prices that leave people stunned. These values are proof of how a small, ordinary object can become extraordinary. The 1980 penny embodies the idea that treasures can hide in plain sight, waiting for someone to recognize them. It is this combination of history, artistry, rarity, and value that makes the 1980 Lincoln penny one of the most fascinating coins of its time. For collectors and dreamers alike, it represents opportunity and excitement. So, if you ever come across a 1980 Lincoln penny, take a moment to look more closely. It could be more than just another coin in your pocket. In fact, the most valuable examples of this coin have been known to reach as high as $110,000. Top 3. The Lincoln penny has always been one of the most collected and recognized coins in the United States, but the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny stands out as one of the most fascinating and complicated issues in the entire series. For coin collectors and history lovers alike, this coin represents a turning point in American coinage history. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major decision that changed the penny forever. For decades, pennies had been struck in a composition of 95% copper, giving them a solid feel and a rich reddish color. But rising copper prices made it too expensive to continue minting the coin in that way. To solve the problem, the mint switched the composition of the penny mid-year. From copper, the coin was changed to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper coating. This was one of the most significant changes in the penny's long history, and it created a year filled with varieties that collectors chase passionately today. That means the year 1982 is unlike almost any other. Instead of a single type of penny, multiple different versions were struck. Some were made from the traditional copper alloy, while others were the new zinc-based cents. Both circulated side by side, but their differences have made them incredibly interesting for collectors. Adding even more intrigue, the 1982 pennies came in different sizes of lettering on the date. Some were struck with large date numbers, while others had small date numbers. When you combine the two metal compositions with the two styles of dates, you end up with a surprising number of distinct varieties all within 1 year. This variety has kept coin hunters busy for decades. Collectors carefully examine every detail of the 1982 penny, checking its weight to see whether it is copper or zinc, and inspecting the size of the date to see which version they have. It turns a simple coin into a thrilling mystery. The copper versions weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc coins weigh about 2.5 grams. That difference in weight makes it easy to tell them apart if you have a sensitive scale. This small detail has made the 1982 penny a favorite for beginners and experts alike. Even though billions of pennies were made in 1982, certain varieties are much harder to find than others. That scarcity is what makes them valuable, especially when combined with superb condition and unusual striking errors. For example, some 1982 pennies with small dates struck in copper are among the most prized finds. They show how even minor differences can create major excitement in the numismatic world. Collectors prize these coins not just for their rarity but for the history they represent. the obverse of the 1982 penny still featured Abraham Lincoln's portrait, a design that had been in place since 1909. His profile, gazing to the right, with the motto, "In God We Trust," above and the word, "Liberty," beside, remained a steady reminder of American tradition even as the coin itself was changing. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design continued to dominate, as it had since 1959. The careful detail of the memorial, complete with the miniature seated Lincoln inside, symbolized stability even during times of change. This balance of old and new is what makes the 1982 penny so special. It was a year of transition, but it still carried forward the imagery that Americans had cherished for decades. That makes it both a coin of history and a coin of continuity. Because of the unusual circumstances of its production, the 1982 penny has been the subject of endless discussions among collectors. Entire books and guides have been written about its varieties, and it remains a cornerstone of Lincoln cent collections everywhere. Beyond the technical details, the 1982 penny also holds cultural meaning. It marked the end of the copper era for the penny, a coin that had been made from copper for over a century. For many collectors, owning a 1982 copper penny feels like holding a piece of that final chapter. At the same time, the zinc pennies of 1982 became the foundation for every penny made afterward. They represent the beginning of a new era, one that continues to this very day. This dual nature makes the year incredibly significant. Collectors are often fascinated by transitional coins, and the 1982 penny is perhaps the most famous transitional coin of all. It stands at the crossroads of two eras, embodying both the old tradition and the new direction. Another aspect that excites collectors is the condition of the coin. A well-struck 1982 penny in mint condition, free from scratches and with brilliant luster, can command serious interest in the market. When paired with a rare variety, the value rises even higher. Errors also make the 1982 penny fascinating. Some examples were struck off-center, others with doubling on the lettering, and some even with unusual planchet mistakes. Each error creates a one-of-a-kind collectible that drives prices upward. The 1982 penny has become a perfect coin for teaching new collectors about varieties and composition. It is simple enough to understand, but complex enough to stay interesting even for advanced hobbyists. That is why it remains so popular decades later. Stories of people discovering valuable 1982 pennies in ordinary coin jars or rolls from the bank continue to inspire treasure hunters. It reminds us that rare coins can be hiding in the most unexpected places. The legacy of the 1982 penny is not only about its composition but also about the excitement it brings. Few coins have managed to capture attention in such a lasting way. Its story combines economics, history, and pure chance into one unforgettable chapter. When collectors build complete sets of Lincoln cents, the 1982 varieties always stand out. They add complexity and challenge, making the set more rewarding and meaningful. It is the year that truly tests a collector's patience and skill. The penny may seem small and ordinary, but coins like the 1982 issue prove that even the smallest denomination can carry great significance. Its value is not just in metal or rarity but in the story it tells about America and its money. In the world of auctions, rare varieties of the 1982 penny have brought surprising results. Collectors are willing to pay impressive sums for well-preserved examples, showing how demand for this coin continues to rise. What makes the 1982 penny unforgettable is its dual identity. It is both copper and zinc, both old and new, both common and rare. It captures the very essence of coin collecting, where every detail matters and every coin has a story. Even today, the hunt continues. Collectors search through rolls, dealers display prized specimens, and enthusiasts debate the finer points of date sizes and compositions. The 1982 penny refuses to be forgotten. It is incredible to think that something so small could hold so much importance. The 1982 Lincoln penny has become a legend in the world of numismatics, and its reputation only grows stronger with time. So next time you come across a 1982 penny, do not dismiss it as just another cent. It could be a rare variety, a treasured piece of history, or even a life-changing discovery. Some examples of this coin have been valued as high as $90,000. Top 4. The Lincoln Wheat Penny has always held a special place in American coinage, and the 1951 edition is no exception. When you look at this small copper coin, you are not just holding currency, but a piece of history that connects directly to a time when America was recovering from war and moving forward into a new era. The year 1951 was a fascinating time in American life. The nation was in the middle of the post-war boom, families were growing, businesses were thriving, and coins like the Lincoln Wheat Penny were part of the daily lives of millions of people. Every penny that changed hands carried with it a silent story of the people who used it. The Lincoln cent itself had already been in circulation since 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By the time 1951 rolled around, Americans had been familiar with Lincoln's dignified portrait on their coins for more than 4 decades, and it had become a symbol of national pride. On the obverse of the 1951 Wheat Penny, you see Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1951 frame his image with solemn dignity. This familiar design gave comfort and continuity to the people who carried these coins every day. The reverse of the coin features the classic wheat ears design, with 2 sheaves of wheat curving around the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. Above, the motto, E pluribus unum, reminds us of unity. The wheat design is simple yet powerful, symbolizing prosperity and abundance, and it is one of the most beloved motifs in American numismatics. The 1951 wheat pennies were struck in 3 different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced large numbers, but subtle differences in production and rarity make certain issues far more valuable than others. Collectors eagerly search for high-grade examples from each mint to complete their sets. What makes the 1951 penny particularly exciting is the condition factor. Many of these coins circulated heavily, passing from hand to hand for years, which means uncirculated examples are much harder to find. A coin preserved in pristine mint state condition stands out as a true treasure. The copper composition of the 1951 penny gives it a rich, warm color that changes beautifully with age. Some coins show a deep red luster, while others have mellowed into brown tones. Collectors value the full red examples the most, as they reflect the brilliance the coin had when it first left the mint. Beyond the ordinary strikes, errors, and varieties make certain 1951 pennies especially valuable. Double-die obverse examples, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks have all been discovered, and these errors elevate the value of the coin significantly. The Denver Mint produced the largest number of 1951 pennies, marked with a small d below the date. The San Francisco Mint, with its S mark, also struck many, but Philadelphia coins were issued without any mint mark. Each variety has its own appeal, and collectors often seek all 3 for a complete set. Holding a 1951 penny is like stepping back into the early years of the 1950s. These were coins that could have been used to buy a candy bar, a newspaper, or a bus ride. They were part of everyday American life, yet some have survived to become incredibly rare and valuable pieces of history. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series itself has always been beloved for its artistry and symbolism. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 until 1958, captures a timeless elegance that modern designs can rarely match. Collectors cherish the wheat design as much as Lincoln's portrait itself. The 1951 penny is also fascinating because it bridges generations. Grandparents may have saved them, parents may have spent them, and now collectors treasure them. They connect us not only to history but also to family stories and personal memories. Auction records show that high-grade 1951 wheat pennies can bring astonishing prices. Collectors compete fiercely for the finest examples, especially those with full luster, sharp details, and minimal marks. It is these coins that turn a simple penny into a valuable investment. The passion for wheat pennies is global. Collectors around the world recognize the importance of the Lincoln series, and the 1951 penny is an essential part of any serious collection. Its story is not just American but international, as the coin represents ideals admired everywhere. Even beginners can get excited about the 1951 penny. It is a coin that often appears in old jars or inherited collections, sparking curiosity and sometimes leading to the discovery of rare varieties. That thrill of discovery keeps the hobby alive. The 1951 wheat penny is also a reminder of how quickly value can change. What once bought a piece of candy is now sought after by collectors for thousands of dollars. It shows us that everyday objects can become extraordinary treasures over time. Collectors often talk about red, red-brown, and brown designations when it comes to copper coins. For the 1951 penny, a full red example in mint state can bring jaw-dropping prices at auction, while brown examples, though still collectible, are less valuable. These small details make all the difference. The hunt for a perfect 1951 penny is ongoing. Coin shows, auctions, and private collections all reveal surprises from time to time. Each discovery adds to the legend of this humble coin. This penny also speaks to the resilience of Lincoln's legacy. His image, paired with the wheat reverse, reflects values of honesty, unity, and prosperity, values that still resonate today. Owning a 1951 penny is like carrying a reminder of those ideals in your pocket. Errors from this year are especially exciting. Repunched mint marks on Denver or San Francisco coins, as well as double dies, can turn a collector's excitement into sheer joy. These coins are rare and often command incredible premiums. The artistry of the wheat penny deserves appreciation, too. The fine lines of the wheat stalks and the sharp lettering demonstrate the skill of the engravers. Even decades later, the design still inspires admiration. As time passes, the number of well-preserved 1951 pennies shrinks, making them increasingly valuable. This rarity ensures that the coin will always hold a special place in numismatic collections. Some collectors build entire albums dedicated to wheat pennies, and the 1951 issue is always a highlight. Its blend of availability and potential rarity makes it both approachable and exciting. The fascination with this penny proves that coin collecting is not just about metal and numbers, it is about history, art, and the human stories behind the money. Each 1951 penny carries those stories with it. Imagine discovering one of these coins in brilliant uncirculated condition, with its copper surface glowing as though it had just left the mint. Such a find is like uncovering a hidden treasure from the past. That is why the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny continues to inspire collectors today. Its story is rich, its design iconic, and its potential value astonishing. It is a coin that combines beauty, rarity, and history into a single copper piece. So, the next time you see a Lincoln Wheat Penny, take a closer look at the date. If it reads 1951, you may just be holding something remarkable. Some of these coins have been valued as high as $395,000. Top 5. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history, and the year 1955 remains one of the most famous and exciting dates in the entire series. When collectors hear about the 1955 penny, their minds immediately jump to stories of rarity, error, and incredible value. The 1955 Wheat Penny carries with it a unique blend of history and mystery. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary copper coin, but in reality, it is one of the most sought-after and legendary issues in the Lincoln Cent series. The story begins with the post-war era of the 1950s, a time when America was thriving. The Lincoln Cent was still being struck in the classic wheat design, which had been in use since 1909. By 1955, people had carried this design in their pockets for decades, and it was a familiar and trusted part of everyday life. The obverse features the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, gazing steadily to the right, with the words, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the side, and the year 1955 stamped beneath. This design carried a sense of dignity and strength, just as Lincoln himself symbolized perseverance and leadership. The reverse of the 1955 penny still displayed the classic wheat ears design. The two sheaves of wheat encircle the denomination, 1 cent, and the inscription, United States of America. The motto, E pluribus unum, appears above, emphasizing the unity of the nation. This reverse design is simple but powerful, and it remains one of the most beloved motifs in numismatics. The 1955 penny is especially famous because of one of the most remarkable minting errors in American coinage, the 1955 double die cent. This error occurred when the dies used to strike the coins were improperly manufactured, causing the inscriptions on the obverse to appear doubled. The doubling is bold and clear, especially on the words, "Liberty," and, "In God We Trust." For collectors, this error is not subtle, it is striking, unmistakable, and legendary. When people first saw these coins in circulation, they were astonished by their unusual appearance. Because of this error, the 1955 double die penny became one of the most recognized and desirable coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Its fame spread quickly, and it became a treasure that everyone hoped to find in their pocket change, even beyond the famous double-die variety. The 1955 penny in high condition is a prize. Many of these coins circulated heavily, which means finding one in mint state condition today is increasingly rare and valuable. The copper composition of the 1955 penny, at 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, gives it a rich color that collectors love. Full red examples, those that have maintained their original luster, are especially sought after. Philadelphia produced the bulk of the 1955 pennies, and these bear no mint mark. Denver and San Francisco also struck coins that year, marked with D and S respectively beneath the date. Each mint issue has its own following and appeal. The double die error, however, occurred at the Philadelphia Mint, and it has made that year unforgettable. The mistake was never caught before the coins entered circulation, so thousands of people unknowingly spent them as regular change. Imagine finding such a coin in your pocket in the 1950s. A penny with strange, doubled lettering, unlike anything you had ever seen before. For many Americans, it was a surprising discovery, and some wisely chose to save them. Over the years, stories have circulated of people finding these rare coins in rolls from banks, in coin jars, or even in change given at a grocery store. Each story adds to the mystique of the 1955 penny and fuels the dream of collectors today. Collectors prize not only the double die but also the challenge of finding a 1955 penny in pristine condition. When preserved carefully, the coin's details remain sharp, and the luster glows as though it just left the mint. The fascination with this coin goes beyond rarity, it is also about the thrill of discovery. Many people first become interested in coin collecting after learning about the 1955 double-die penny. Its fame has introduced generations to the excitement of numismatics. At coin shows and auctions, the 1955 penny always draws attention. Collectors gather to admire examples and bid passionately, knowing that owning such a coin is like holding a piece of numismatic legend. Errors like the double die also remind us of the human element in coin production. Despite strict controls and machinery, mistakes can happen, and sometimes those mistakes create treasures that last for centuries. The wheat reverse itself makes the 1955 penny special. By the mid-1950s, the wheat design was nearing the end of its run, as it would be replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. That makes the 1955 penny one of the later wheat issues, adding to its historical importance. For many collectors, the Wheat Penny series is a favorite, and the 1955 issue stands out as one of the highlights. Its combination of artistry, history, and error makes it unforgettable. The doubling on the 1955 cent is so dramatic that even someone with no knowledge of coins can recognize it immediately. That visibility has helped keep it famous, as it requires no special magnifying glass or expertise to appreciate. Beyond the double die, other minor varieties exist, such as repunched mint marks and small striking errors, which also interest collectors. Each variety adds depth and richness to the story of the 1955 penny. The coin also serves as a reminder of how values can change. What was once a simple penny used for everyday purchases is now one of the most desirable collectibles in American coinage. Holding a 1955 penny today is like stepping back into mid-century America. It connects us to the people who lived then, to the culture of the time, and to the enduring legacy of Lincoln himself. Even outside of auctions, the coin inspires awe. Collectors proudly display their 1955 pennies, and newcomers dream of owning one. It is one of those coins that captures the imagination like few others. Its fame also ensures that it will always be a centerpiece in the Lincoln Cent series. No complete collection feels finished without the 1955 penny, especially the double die variety. This coin proves that sometimes mistakes can become masterpieces. The double die of 1955 transformed a small error into one of the greatest treasures in U.S. coin history. Today, collectors continue to search, hoping to stumble upon one of these rare coins. The dream of discovery never fades, because the 1955 penny still holds the power to surprise. So the next time you come across a wheat penny, check the date carefully. A 1955 penny could be more than just an old coin, it could be a rare treasure. Some examples have been valued as high as $375,000. Top 6. The Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1956 may appear at first as just another small copper coin from America's mid-century era, but within its details lies a fascinating story that has captured the hearts of coin collectors for decades. This penny was born in a time when the United States was enjoying post-war prosperity. It was a year filled with optimism, a period when people carried pennies in their pockets daily, never imagining that one day certain examples of these coins would be worth a fortune. The design of the 1956 penny continues the timeless legacy that began in 1909 with the first Lincoln cent. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, a design that became an enduring symbol of American coinage. Lincoln's face, strong and resolute, is framed by the motto, "In God We Trust," across the top, the word "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1956 carefully inscribed on the lower right. These inscriptions not only honor the great president but also reflect the ideals of the nation. Turning the coin to its reverse, we are greeted with the classic wheat ears design. Two graceful stalks of wheat arc along the sides, surrounding the bold words, 1 cent, and United States of America, while the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, rests proudly at the top. The wheat reverse, simple yet powerful, was designed to represent the agricultural strength of the country. By 1956, this design was nearing the end of its era, as only a few years later, the reverse would be changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. The 1956 penny was struck at two major mints, Philadelphia, which produced coins with no mint mark, and Denver, whose coins carried the small d mark below the date. Both issues were made in the hundreds of millions, ensuring wide circulation, yet, despite such massive production, certain 1956 pennies have become legendary for their condition, their errors, and their rarity. These are the coins that stand out among the billions of Lincoln cents minted over the years. One of the features collectors look for is luster. A 1956 penny that has been preserved without scratches or where shines with a fiery red copper brilliance, as if it were just released from the mint presses yesterday. Finding such a coin is a challenge because most pennies from this year were used heavily in commerce. They bought candy, newspapers, and countless small items of daily life. As a result, many are now worn and dull. The thrill of collecting the 1956 penny lies in uncovering those rare examples that survived in perfect or near-perfect condition. These gems are what auction houses showcase and what collectors dream of adding to their sets. Errors from 1956 also add to the excitement. Among them are double dies, repunched mint marks, and striking anomalies that make each coin unique. For collectors, these errors transform a common cent into a fascinating treasure. One of the joys of coin collecting is the history behind each piece. Holding a 1956 penny is like holding a piece of mid-century America, connecting you to the people who once used it in everyday life. The wheat reverse itself inspires nostalgia. For older generations, it brings back memories of childhood, when wheat pennies were still plentiful in circulation. For younger collectors, it represents a direct link to America's past. By 1956, the wheat penny had been in use for nearly half a century. It had become a familiar companion in commerce, and its replacement just a few years later made these coins even more beloved as symbols of a bygone era. Collectors today prize the 1956 penny not just for its beauty but also for its place in the larger story of American coinage. It is part of a series that bridges the gap between old traditions and modern designs. Every 1956 penny carries the spirit of Abraham Lincoln, whose image was chosen for the cent to commemorate his 100th birthday in 1909. That choice gave the coin a deeper significance, honoring a man who preserved the Union. Because of this, the Lincoln penny is not just currency, it is a tribute to history, freedom, and unity. The 1956 issue continues that legacy with dignity and grace. Auction houses around the world have seen fierce competition for the finest 1956 pennies. Collectors know that only a handful of examples survive in pristine red condition, making them treasures to be cherished. These coins remind us of how even the smallest denomination can hold immense historical and monetary value. A penny once spent casually can today command a life-changing price if preserved in the right way. It is also a reminder of how important attention to detail is in collecting. The smallest variations in strike, color, and preservation can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth a fortune. For those who love numismatics, the 1956 penny represents the thrill of the hunt. Searching through rolls of coins or old collections, the hope of finding that one perfect example keeps the passion alive. The beauty of the coin is undeniable. Its simple design, its bright copper shine, and its powerful symbolism make it more than just money. It is art, history, and treasure combined in one. The 1956 penny also tells a story of America itself. It reflects a nation that was growing, prospering, and moving toward a new era, yet still honoring the legacy of one of its greatest leaders. Collectors who hold one of these rare 1956 gems know they are holding something that has passed through generations, carrying with it stories, memories, and value, and for many, the dream continues. Each coin roll opened, each pocket change checked, carries the possibility of finding one of these extraordinary pennies. This is what makes coin collecting magical, the idea that history and fortune can appear in the smallest of places, even in something as simple as a 1-cent piece. Among all the coins of the Wheat Penny series, the 1956 issue stands proudly as a collectible that combines accessibility with the potential for astonishing rarity, and while countless examples exist, those in flawless condition can reach values so high they seem unbelievable. Some rare specimens of the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny have been valued at as much as $355,000.